Man, F.A.B. I was trying to do the race. It's Tay-K. Listen, years ago, we all know about Tay-K, right? Like, genuinely, I thought this conversation was over. I thought after all the court cases, all the headlines, all the years had passed, we had already figured out where everybody stood on Tay-K. Apparently not, because somehow in 2026, Tay-K is trending again. Now, if you haven't seen the latest on Instagram, TikTok, etc., people have been making jokes about, oh, he's going to get out when Grand Theft Auto 75 comes out, or he'll be out by 2040, 2080, all these crazy days, right? Now, people are posting clips, people are talking about his music, people are even saying free Tay-K. I mean, every time his name circulates, the internet turns into war. Allegedly, he started a gang behind bars called the Rugrats, because for those you don't know, he was actually technically a minor when he was captured and sentenced, but they charged him as an adult, giving him a life sentence. Now, who is Tay-K? So Tay-K is a rapper that back in 2017, this dude had one of the biggest internet stories in hip-hop. I mean, he was viral before people were saying viral. Not because of a label push either. It was all 100% organic. Like, there was no radio play, no labels involved, no type of industry plant, no type of industry machine behind him. It was just the story and the music itself. So he had some songs called Mega Man and a few others. It started a little local buzz in Texas. But once he released his song, The Race, it exploded while he was literally a fugitive. In the video, you see him posting or being by signs that show him as wanted. So he recorded a video while on the run for a hot one. What's a hot one? We're going to talk about that here shortly. But he was the first artist to ever do that. Now, since then, there have been a few artists try to copy his strategy. They go on the run, make music, etc. But he was the first one. So the song became one of the most viral records of the era, and it eventually landed on the Billboard Hot 100. And that's where things got weird. So the music wasn't separated that much from the story. The story was raw, right? The story was real. People weren't just listening to the song, they were watching a real life story unfold. The question was, is he ever going to get caught? What's happening, right? And that's what added to the virality. Because his music is good, but I'm not going to say it's like exceptionally better than everyone else's, but this added on to it. So now let's get more into these details, right? Because a lot of people, Tay-K from the memes and old clips, but they don't know what happened, right? So in 2016, Tay-K was convicted in connection with the unaliving of a young man named Ethan Walker, and he received a 55-year sentence. However, later he faced another case involving a photographer, Mark Anthony Saldivar. So that's two cases, all while he's recording music. So in April 2025, a jury found him guilty of murder in that case, and he was sentenced to 80 years in life. So this is where we get the life sentence at, right? Because you got the 55, you got the 80. For those you don't know, humans don't live that long. Now, that's why whenever release rumors start floating around online, people immediately push back. They're like, because, how do you escape this? Even if he beats one, he still has another. So it's like, how can you possibly say, what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? But here's the thing. Tay-K trends for a reason. Every few months, somebody posts free Tay-K, somebody uploads an old clip, somebody starts talking about his unreleased music, what he's been up to, the gang he started behind bars, somebody talks about his release date, and the algorithm eats it up. Why? Because Tay-K represents one of the biggest what-if stories in modern hip-hop. All you gotta do is look at the numbers. Look how young he was. Look at what they started imagining, as a different life for themselves. Ask, what if none of this would have happened? What if his music would just took off and he would have never had the case behind him? Now, this is where the comment section goes crazy, because there are really two different conversations happening. There's some people who may say, I only care about the music, and then there's some people who I care about the story. Or you might be a hybrid. You care about both. Either way, his story is interesting because allegedly he wasn't even the trigger man. So maybe that can contribute to why some people believe like, oh, maybe he should get away. I mean, technically he was a minor, and then on top of that, he didn't pull the trigger, and he was accomplished with other people, so there's all type of angles you could look at this at, right? But at what point do we stop treating this like entertainment? Because we're talking about real victims, real families, real people whose lives are affected. And honestly, that's why this debate never dies. Nobody's actually going to argue that his music is horrible. They're arguing usually about the more morality standpoint of it. Should he be behind bars? Should he not? I mean, it's a slippery slope. If what they're saying is true, it's definitely a bad thing. But at the same time, like I said, he was underage, and he allegedly wasn't the one that unalived the people. So I think the bigger lesson here is, Tay-K is more than a rapper. It's more about the internet culture and life and morality and what's going on and where should we take our stance, right? How we spend our years. That's why people are still debating it. But that's all I want to talk about in this particular video. I want to let you know, if y'all have any subjects, topics, etc. that want to discuss, don't hesitate to reach out one bit at all.